you guys. Alright, so I wanted to do a tutorial before I stepped out. I'm starting off with a bare face, and as you can see, my brows are not done. A lot of people, when they see my brows done, they think that they're perfect, and I'm always telling them, like, without makeup, my brows are a hot mess. I'm literally trying to grow them out, so you see all that hair there. So with brush B1, it's a double-ended brush. It's an angle on one side and a spoolie on the other. I'm going in with dip brow in medium brown, and I will fill in where I have no hair. So after applying most of the product to the bottom, I also fill in the top, and then whatever is remaining on my brush, I just fill in those sparse areas. At this point, I barely have anything left on the brush, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in the front. So I went ahead and did my other brow. I'm gonna go in with the spoolie now and just brush them out to soften them up. And with B2, which is the brow concealer brush, and my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just clean up underneath the brow. So you're basically gonna draw a line going underneath and then blend that out. Now using my concealer brush, I'm taking the MAC Soft Ochre and applying that as a base all over my lids. So I'm going to be using the 3 brushes from the Dramatic brush set, and these are E1, E2, and E3. So for those of you who don't know, I numbered these brushes in a way that you would understand which brush goes first and which next. So E is for eyes. So I'm gonna go in with E1 and I'm gonna place the first color in this palette, which is this light shade right here. So I'm using the color Zaz as my brow bone highlight. Also taking that color a little bit below here, like in this area, just so when I apply that transition color, it blends in beautifully. Now I'm going to use brush E2 and I'm going into this color here, and it's called Yodit, and I'm going to use that as my transition shade. So you see most of my color, I started at this area and then blended upwards with barely anything on my brush, buffing that up. Start here, put most of your color and blend out. Next brush is E3, and it's a little bit more tapered up into a point here, so this will give you a little bit more contrast. So I'm gonna go in with a darker shade, and this one is called Kufuru, that one there. So I'm paying attention a little bit more on this outer corner, and when I'm pulling out, I'm not pulling it out too much, but just blending it into that. It's like that perfect chocolate brown. Also going up into my crease a little here. So I'm gonna go back in with E1 and the color Kana, this taupish beige here, and I'm gonna apply that on my lids. I didn't apply concealer or anything because I'm not trying to get like a dramatic cut crease. I'm going more for like a soft blended look. So after applying this here, I'm gonna blend these two into that color there. So I'm just gonna go back into that shade that I used as my transition color, and I'm also using it as a transition between that darker brown and this taupe color here. And I'm using brush E2 to blend those two colors. Use the color Teddy from MAC, and I'm just going to draw a very thin line on my lower lash line. This is not going inside, just on the outer 2/3 of my eyes. And in the order of the numbers on the brushes, so we did E1, E2, E3, I'm going to be using E4, which is a pencil brush, and I'm going to go into that darker brown color here that we used and smoke out the bottom lash line. Essentially what I'm doing is connecting that liner I just did to my upper eyeshadow. This will help give you a guide also when you're doing your winged liner. You just follow that right there and you'll be good. This brush is E5, so that's step 5 in your eye makeup. And I'm gonna go in with Inglot Gel Liner in number 77. And I'm gonna apply a little bit on my brush here. Just wipe it a little bit on my hands. So I always have makeup on my hands. Just to get it to a nice point with that eyeliner on there. And then I'll use that. You see, it's a really nice pointy tip. So I'm gonna have to look in my mirror to do this. I'm gonna start off right out here. I have hooded lids. I typically don't like liner on my eyes, so I go really small. I don't do a huge wing. I'm just gonna connect that. So now that I've applied my liner, I'm going to go back in with E4, that pencil brush that I smoked out the bottom. And I'm going to put a little bit of that black eyeshadow in the color Shawata. I'm just going to apply that to smoke out the outer part of, I don't know why I can't talk today, outer part of my liner. This works for me because I have hooded lids, so I typically like to smoke out the outer part. And I'm going to go back in with E3. I'm not putting anything on. I'm just going to buff that black eyeshadow I just applied. I'm just going to continue to buff that and pull it out a little. Basically pulling my wing. I'm buffing that back in here. And I'm using E2 to do this. Just got a wipe and I'm just going to clean up under my eyes. And just right under there. And pull it up towards your brows. I like to go back and finish my eyes with the inner corner highlight and my mascara after I finish my face. So we've used up all the eye brushes except for the detail brush, and this is a lip brush. And now we're gonna go into all of the face brushes. And just like we went in order with all the eye brushes from E1 to E6, we're gonna go with the face brushes, which are F1 through F6. So we're beginning with F1, which is the foundation brush. So I'm gonna stipple the foundation on, pressing it into my, I had to do it off camera because I had to lift off my scarf so I don't get it all over my undercap. But I'm using Toofaced in Peach Perfect in the color Natural Beige. Onto my concealer, and I'm using brush number F2, which is my concealer brush, and the Tarte Shape Tape in light medium. And I'm gonna apply that right in the inner corner. So I'm just gonna buff that in, bring it down this way, and then up. I like to clean underneath my liner with that. And I also like to buff it in this area here. This is the reason I created this brush in this shape and this size, is so it's easier to get in at that inner corner that a lot of people miss. And also in this area here, see, it fits in nicely. So now I'm gonna set all of my makeup using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Translucent Powder and using a brush number F3, which is my fluffy powder brush. By first squeezing the brush a little, I get it to be a little bit smaller to fit in that area. And I'm just gonna take some of that powder on that brush, dust it off, and just pack that on underneath my eyes. I'm not the type of person that likes to bake, so after I do that, I'm gonna swish my brush in here again. And I'm just gonna immediately dust that off. Setting the rest of my face with the remaining powder. So following the steps of the makeup brushes, F1 foundation, F2 concealer, F3 powder, F4 is our contour brush, and this has a tapered end for the perfect application. I'll begin by applying my contour, starting from the upper part of my cheekbone, so it would be my ear, but you can't see it, but like right up in here, my hairline there, and bring that down. So we're going in now for the blush brush, which is F5, and just to compare it with the contour brush, F5 is a little bit more flat, contour brush is a little more tapered to give you precision. And I'm going to use Rockateur from Benefit Cosmetics. I'm just gonna apply a little bit here. I'm not huge on blush, so we're gonna go really soft. Just on the apples of my cheeks. Now for the final step in your face application is F6, which is your highlight brush. And if you notice, I made the brush a little bit more dense and flatter and smaller. This helps for a more precise application. So what I'm gonna be using today is Star Island. I'm gonna go in here with my highlight brush, F6. And we're gonna apply that. Oh wow, this is freaking gorgeous. I like to bring my highlight a little bit higher. You guys, I don't think I've ever fell in love with a highlight this much. And I bought a few. Whoa. I cannot wait to try all the other colors. Like, I'm not a highlight girl. And this has just made me into one, seriously. I'm about to highlight my nose and everything. I usually do not highlight like this. Like, oh my God. Remember, there was one more eye brush that I didn't use, and that was the detail brush. So I'm gonna go in with the same highlighter from Ofra, and I'm gonna use that in my inner corner here. Now to complete my makeup look, I'm not gonna use lashes today. So I'm just gonna put some mascara, and I'm using the Urban Decay Perversion. And I'm gonna finish up my look with the Huda Beauty Bombshell. Bombshell is one of my favorite colors from Huda Beauty because it doesn't dry out my lips. So I just finished recording this makeup look for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it.